A very good evening to you all, and welcome back to DaleThompsonGolfing.com, the home for trucking golfers, because playing is living. We should all know that. Right, here we are. I'm on my first night of the week, but I'm hoping it's going to be a nice week. I've got to run tonight down to Dartford, Sainsbury's Dartford, so it's not too bad. That's the only one I've got. Right, so here I am on the first thing that we ever do, and I do this even before I put my card in. Visual check of the vehicle, and I think it's one thing that a lot of drivers neglect is the date, or the calibration date of the tacho, and it's got to be within a 2-year window, so that's 2024. So yeah, there's plenty of time there before it gets calibrated again. And then I just give a visual check of the vehicle. It's actually been cleaned. These are actually minging. Always make sure there's nothing hanging off. The tyres and the wheel nut alignments, they are all correct and in line. The tread, you can gauge the tread just by looking at it. I think DHL's policy is 3mm. AdBlue tank, you can't check the AdBlue tank because there's no dip or anything like that, and there's no visual that you can do with the AdBlue. So you just got to go by the dial gauge that's on the dashboard. Now, the tag axle or the drop axle, I like to see it put up when people are finished. A lot of people leave it down touching the ground, especially when they're carrying heavy loads. And the tread on those, I feel, is not as bad as what they are at the front or the rear. And all I do is just give it a physical with my finger, and as you can see, the tread looks pretty damn good. Now, the kingpin lever, I like to see it set the way it's set. Some people leave it like that, but I don't feel that it engages properly, so I always like give it a tug, make sure it's out and set correctly. Make sure there's nothing hanging off. The hoses haven't been put away correctly. They should be stored securely. Whoever's finished with this couldn't be arsed. So once again, make sure there's no splits or tears in the tyres. All the wheel nut alignments are aligned correctly, and you can gauge with the tyre and the tread. Like I say, these look bloody brand new, these do. And especially with these at the rear axle, instead of lifting them up, you can actually see the tread and see how good the tyres are. There's only about 5% of the tyre showing, but it's a good gauge. Once again, making sure there's no damage, nobody's reversed into another truck or anything like that, no mud guards hanging off, lights are intact. I'll check the lights later on, that's a given. Yeah, all the wheel nut alignments, tread looks pretty good on that as well. And what I normally do as well is, with the old Mercs, I used to give a visual check of the fuel tank. With these, I don't think you can. No. I'm not dipping my finger in there. Diesel, as we know, is a very oily product, and it stinks and it's horrible. So I usually use the gauges on the dashboard for that. 9 times out of 10, the vehicles have been fueled up, and if they're not, we'll just go down to the fuel point and fill the bugger up. So yeah, everything else looks tickety-boo. Mirrors, no cracks in the mirrors. Wheel nut alignments on the front are good. Tyres, tread looks good. Foot guards, yeah, we check the stability of the foot guard as well. And we do have side cameras. we did have. Don't know where they're gone. This one hasn't got side cameras, but that's the I think that is the GPS for the vehicle location. No, it's not, sorry, that is the gauge control, distance gauge control sensor, Spillard, and you've got a camera on the dashboard as well. Well, it's just there, you can see it there. That's gives you a warning whether or not you're too close to the curb or any other vehicle. So everything looks tickety-boo. I don't usually check under the bloody hell, number plate's been smashed. brilliant. You can actually lift the front grille up and dip the oil, but I normally go by the gauge on the front. It normally tells you whether or not it needs oil or not. And obviously there's water for the windscreen wash as well in there. Headlights are all intact, they're not cracked or broken. There's the other spillard sensor for the right hand side. Yeah, everything looks pretty good. Mirrors are good. I'll give them a clean once we get in the cab. Let's get in the cab. Okay, so the next phase inside the cab. I normally give it just a quick. Somebody's left an air net up there. That's very generous of them. I normally just give it a quick once over. Make sure the curtains. It's only got one set of curtains, so yeah, I'm not too bothered about that. And I check the dash, make sure that all the lights are working. As you can see, there's only just under 3/4 of a tank, so whoever has had this vehicle has not bothered bloody filling it up, which is brilliant. And what I normally do as well, I set my mirrors. Obviously got for the lower mirror, and then obviously the top one for the upper mirror. As you can see, it'll move. They're really good mirrors, I think. I prefer these than the Merc camera mirrors. There's also an internal camera, as you can see just there, and we've got to check that light is flashing, then we'll know it's working. There's the spillard, the sensor for the left and right hand side, and you've also got the sensor warning lights there that go amber, well, green, amber and red, to let you know that you're too close to an object. And they're pretty good actually. The sensors are really good, and they'll tell you when there's a person there as well, to warn you that there's a person nearby, which I think is absolutely brilliant. Right, I'm going to check my lights and I'm going to put my tacho in, so I'll see you in a bit.
A few moments later.
Okay, so with my tacho, what I normally do is when I finish my shift, as you can see, I finished on the 17th at 10:08, and I always before I pull my card, I leave it on a 2-minute break, and then I pull my card, so I'm on rest straight away. It will always default back once you leave it. So as you can see, as soon as I put my card in, I'm on rest, and I'm starting on the 19th. The time is wrong because I started at 2100, so I click OK to the time, reduce the minutes to 2100, keep your finger on the button, then it goes down pretty fast. Click OK. We change the symbol. Now I normally do a period of POA up until the time that I've got in the cab, because it knows exactly when you've put your card in. Okay, so it knows that I've actually put my card in at 17 minutes past 9. Okay, so I normally do POA up until then. Click OK. Okay, confirm, and then it'll go to the cross hammers. So now I can carry out my 15-minute check, even though I've just done my 15-minute check anyway. I've checked the vehicle over, and what I'll do now is I'll do my paperwork. And what I normally do then is I start my Zebra. I boost up my Zebra and accept my job and blah blah blah. So I'm going to do that, and I'm back in a minute.
5 minutes later.
Okay, so I've done all that. I've done my paperwork. I've done my Zebra. It's all boosted up. My job's all been accepted. Like I say, I'm only going down to Sainsbury's at Dartford, so it's not too bad. I've hooked my sat nav up, and I know where Dartford is. There's a couple of ways you can get down to there, but Sainsbury's Dartford is pretty easy to get to. The only reason that I use my sat nav is purely for my ETA, what time I'm going to get there. If I'm timed on like Tesco or something like that, then I've got to be there at a certain time. So if my sat nav's saying that I'm going to be an hour late, then I'll let the office know, and they can email or get in touch with Tesco's or whatever and let them know I'm going to be late, or Asda or Sainsbury's or whoever I'm booked in at. So that's the only main reason that I use my my sat nav. Obviously it has the bridge classifications on there, which is absolutely brilliant, and I 100% trust it more than anything in the truck. I really do. It is absolutely a fantastic piece of equipment, and I suggest that, if, like I say, if you're starting out and you're trucking, bloody get one, because it will save your job. I swear to you, it will save your job. Not just purely for the time, but if you have a bridge strike, God forbid it ever happens, then that'll tell you exactly where the low bridges are and what to avoid, and it'll pick out your route and blah blah blah. Right, I'm going to hook up to my trailer. Obviously there's a lot more checks that I've got to do in my trailer. It's mainly basic with a trailer. I always make sure that my curtain, if I've got a curtain sider, which 9 times out of 10 here, that's all we've got is curtain siders. I always make sure that it's taut like a bloody drum and there's no movement in the curtain whatsoever. That's how I like my curtain. I don't like it flapping all over the place with straps dangling down. I think it's just so untidy and so unprofessional. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll look up to my trailer. I'm going to bugger off. So drive safe, look after yourself, watch out for those lunatics, because freaking all over the place. Like, subscribe, drop me a comment on anything. If I've missed anything during my inspection, then let me know please, and say you're an idiot, you forgot this. But yeah, I've more or less checked everything outside, did all my internal checks. So yeah, right, I'll see you for my second shift tomorrow. Take care guys.